Hey, Dan here, and this is my second of 3 videos I'm filming on the ketogenic diet or the keto diet. As I mentioned in the first video, I have found this to be tremendously beneficial for my life. I've been on it for about 18 months now with the odd cheat weeks and even a cheat month when I was in Italy and Spain, but generally have been following and I've had tremendous benefits. As you know, often on this channel, I'm talking about personality psychology, about ENFPs, my own personality type, about INFPs, and about building a business. But the reason I want to cover this, and I may even cover it more in future videos, is as I said, this has been one of the best changes I've made in my life and has had tremendous benefits for me in terms of my mood, my ability to focus, my levels of discipline, and my business, where I've seen significant growth in my business that I directly attribute to following this way of eating. In this video, I want to clear up some of the misunderstandings I hear about the ketogenic diet. Sometimes these are from strangers I just talked to, and they're like, yeah, I heard about that diet, so whatever. But other times it's actually people that are on the diet and aren't getting the best results. And as I ask them more about what they're actually doing, I realize they're making some small mistakes with it, or they're not necessarily following it the way they should be. So the first misunderstanding is that you're missing something you should be eating. Like there's essential vitamins or nutrients that you can't get on this diet, and it's really unhealthy. And it's a funny thing, even when I gave up just eating wheat for a while before this diet, people would bring that up to me. My own dad was like, well, what about? I'm like, what about what? What are you getting from bread that you can't get other places? And yes, some bread is enriched and it has different vitamins, but vitamins you can definitely get other places. So let me just say this, carbs serve no essential role in your diet. You will not die from not eating carbs, and you do actually get some carbs within this diet anyhow, and I'll get into maybe that at another time. But there's nothing you need to eat that you can't get in this. Now, you may want to be careful with what you're eating. Make sure you have a balanced diet within this. Balanced, but not carbohydrates. I mean, balanced in terms of having lots of vegetables and different things. And you do have to use more salt and more fat. And this one, I know this is tough. When you're cooking, you have to be sure to use extra fat and extra salt because you won't actually get enough salt in this diet. So I know it's really disgusting meals with lots of salt and fat and all that kind of stuff. You may want to substitute with a bit of potassium or just make sure to eat a lot of avocados, but generally you're not missing out on anything that your body needs. And that brings me to the second misunderstanding that I hear is that you can't eat vegetables. Yes, you can. So the way you monitor carbs in this diet is what's called net carbs. Basically, the carbohydrates levels of food minus the fiber, because you're ultimately not digesting those carbs if they're in the form of fiber. Therefore, it doesn't really matter. So a lot of foods like avocados have something like 20 gross carbs, total carbs, but most of that is fiber, and so you can just eat as many avocados as you want. I cook lots of cauliflower. I actually make cauliflower mashed potatoes, so instead of a potato, I use cauliflower. It's really delicious. I make zucchini pasta and generally cook with a lot of different vegetables. I also eat berries. Now, you need to be careful on having way too many in terms of the quantity, but if you have a bowl of blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, not a problem at all. And actually, if I ever get to the point where I'm sharing some of my homemade recipes and stuff, I've made some great desserts involving berries and cream and all kinds of good stuff. The third misunderstanding that I worry might keep some people from ever starting this is the thought that you have to be obsessive and that things have to be really complicated to do this. Yes, there are people online who are tracking their macronutrients and this and that and following extreme meal plans. I have never once tracked what I eat in a single day since I have been on this. I'm also not obsessive. I read one book on this and that's it. I don't follow 20 Instagrammers who talk about keto stuff. I don't go to keto meetups. I don't even buy keto supplements except MCT oil, which I just bought for the first time. Turns out it's really good too, so I'm gonna keep buying it, but I am not obsessive with it. The way I approach this is I figured out the kinds of food I shouldn't have. So basically eliminating, grains, potatoes, a lot of sugars, things like that. Figured out the foods that are really good to have more of. So things like avocado, lots of like coconut oil, olive oil, these things. Adding extra oil is important. So I figured that stuff out, and then I just shop for those things, and then I cook what I feel like. I have some meals in the back of my head that I kind of default to. No obsession needed. So yes, perhaps for some people this comes off as a really extreme diet, but it does not need to be. If anything, you could argue that the other way, eating a heavy carb diet, is just as, if not more extreme than this is. On the note of carbs and fat and protein, one of the things that you do not want to mix up is this diet with the Atkins diet. Often when I tell people that I follow the keto diet, they say low carb and they assume it's high protein. This is not the case, and it actually makes a really big difference. I could never follow a high protein diet. Like, chicken breast for every meal is not very tasty, and it is not ultimately actually that healthy in the long run, I don't think either, although I am not an expert in that area of the nutrition. But the general breakdown in terms of what you're supposed to be eating with this is somewhere between 70 and 80% fat, 5 to maybe 10% of carbs, and the rest protein. So protein somewhere like 15 to 20% of your calories. Keep in mind, it is calories, not grams of food. So it's not as hard to meet as you might think. An egg is quite big and has like 60 calories, I think, something like that. Butter is quite small and has like 60 calories, a little piece of butter. So it's very easy to get the fat in there because a small amount of fat has a high amount of calories. But again, keep this in mind, it's high fat. If you go medium fat, kind of medium protein, you do the whole thing that a lot of us fall into. It's like this middle class mentality of like, don't do anything too extreme, kind of be in balance. You will get none of the benefits. Too much protein throws you out of ketosis. Ketosis is the state where you burn a lot of fat and you get that mental clarity and extreme focus that I've talked about in other videos. So if you do like medium levels, or you say, I don't want to go too extreme on the carbs, I'll eat 100 or 150 grams a day instead of 50 or less, which is the recommended, yeah, you'll get benefits. You'll be eating healthier than probably 95% of people, but you won't get any of these extreme benefits and the real perks of the diet. So if you're going to do it, go all in. And the last misunderstanding, although maybe I should keep this myth out there, is that it's hard. Okay, I like it when people think that I'm this machine who can follow this extreme diet because I'm all discipline and willpower, but the truth is it's not very hard. An average meal I might have might be like a nice steak and red wine. As I said earlier, my average meals have went up in quality in terms of taste and in terms of my general dining experience. Sure, there are some challenges. Eating out is not as fun. As a lot of you know, I live in Prague in the Czech Republic. The beer here is incredible, cheap, not easy to be on this diet eating out here. So there are times where it is tougher, especially since low carb beer is not a thing in Europe, really. You can buy it at grocery stores, not at restaurants. So there are definitely times out with friends, especially now in the summer, where having beer would be nice. There are times when I'm out at a restaurant and having to try to order substitutions and things like that is a bit of a pain, but generally it's not very hard, and the benefits outweigh the difficulty at least 10 to 1 for me. So I hope this video has cleared up some misunderstandings about the keto diet. As I've said, this has been one of the best decisions I've made. I've been on this thing for about 18 months now. Nothing but good things to say. I will be sharing a third video in this series with some of my tips for getting started, staying on, and getting the most benefits possible from the keto diet. And if you are new here and wondering who I am, my name is Dan. This is Dreams Around the World, and my mission here in general is to help you become the best version of yourself, all while creating the most awesome life possible for you and those you love. I do publish new videos every week, so definitely hit that subscribe button. And below in the comments, let me know, is there something I explained in this video which cleared up a misunderstanding for you about this whole keto diet? Thank you for watching. Catch you in that next video soon. Oh, and just before you go, I wanted to let you know I'm hosting a 3-day retreat in Vancouver, Canada, late July this summer. I'll include a card pop-up for that and the link in the description below. Check it out if you're interested in joining us and connecting with some awesome people. It would be great to have you there.